You've had to defend Dexter a little bit, haven't you, in the course of promoting this movie? I think some people seem to think he's a right cad or a bit worse.
I had to defend him when we were making the movie. All the girls on the film set, you couldn't stand him,
Really?
It was quite, we would go out and have nights out, obviously, and the question would always come, people would argue about Dexter and Emma's relationship. We got into great heated discussions with people.
What's your take on him?
My take is that he's a good person. He's irresponsible and irritating at times, but people thought that he treated Emma badly, and I don't think he did so much. I think he kept her at an arm's length, and I think he really cared about their friendship, and he's really kind to her, and is a nightmare as well. But it's not his fault that she's so in love with him. Do you know what I mean? And he can't handle that, and is not ready to deal with that, and absolutely loves her and wants to be around her all the time. He's in a nightclub in the middle of the night and wants to call her and tell her how much he loves her, and all those great things. And he takes her on holiday, and of course there's a backhanded idea of why he's doing that, but he's just a fun-loving guy, that gets himself into a bit of trouble and gets things a bit complicated and is maybe a bit clumsy with his behaviour.
Are you, or have you been the kind of guy to make the drunken phone calls from the nightclub?
Yes, of course. Yeah, everyone has them. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, I'm not answering that.
Yeah, come on, that's not fair. If I could have a bit to it, you got it.
I'm wondering, have you had any kind of strong reactions from fans of the book? Well, if they see you out and about, or if they encounter you somewhere, have they had strong reactions to your casting as Dexter?
I've had it a few times. One in particular when I had a conversation with a girl I didn't know, a mutual friend's barbecue, and she was asking, we were just chatting, and she said, "Oh, so I hear you're an actor, have you been in anything, or are you working on anything?" And I said, "Oh, we've just been making this film one day." And she was like, "Oh my God, that's my favourite story, that's my favourite book, I love that book." And then she said, "So do you have a speaking part in the film?" I was like, "Well, yeah, I kind of played, the Dexter character in the film." And her face just dropped, she seemed so disappointed. And she was like, but then, of course she has her own version of Dexter, but I did look at myself at the barbecue, and I'd had a few beers, and I had a fully grown beard and was pretty out of shape at the time. So
you weren't the great romantic hero she had in her head.
So I was like, I assured her that I looked slightly better on camera than I did at this moment in time.
Well, hopefully she'll forgive you when she sees the movie. I'm wondering, you had some lovely scenes in the movie with the little girl who plays your screen daughter.
Yeah.
Did it make you broody at all?
That bit was lovely, and I really enjoyed working with her. I really did. She was such a sweet girl, and we got on really well. And it's always great when you have to work that extra bit harder to make it believable for a young person. So you really have to carry on with it. When the cameras aren't rolling, you have to really make that a believable platform for them to sort of exist in. Otherwise, you shout action and they start acting, And so we spent a lot of time together and hung out and were messing around, just to sort of build that kind of relationship. And I really, really, really liked her. She was such a sweet girl. So, I love kids, I love hanging out with kids. But then we had to do the scene with the screaming baby, and that put me right back to square one. I was like, you can forget about that. It was possibly one of the worst days of my life.
Didn't like you, no?
Didn't like me at all, because it was just, because we had to act with it and interact with this poor baby, and it was just, it just associated me with a bad time, So you give it to anybody else and it would calm down and be angelic and beautiful, and then you hand it back to me and it would just go for it in my ear.
The way the date of July 15th is really important in the movie. I'm wondering if there's a specific date apart from your birthday or something that is very important to you or of equal significance to you.
Yeah, well, I'd have to say the anniversary of when I met my girlfriend.
Okay.
Of course, yeah.
Do you know what? Can you remember what date?
No.
Pressure.
No, it was the 20th of May.
Okay.
Yeah, we met. So we had that moment where you just meet and connect, and we never went out with each other. We never went on a date. I never asked her out. We just started hanging out with each other. But that was a special day when we really sort of spent a lot of time together.
Lastly, are you ready to be a sex symbol after this movie, and what does your girlfriend make of that?
It's just the weirdest question, because it's just, of course I'm not, and I don't think about it, and I can't, perceive myself in that way, and I can't even believe that many people fancy Dexter at all, to be honest. Not with that hairstyle.